Hi everyone, I'm Jodi Reinert and this is my Stamp with Jodi YouTube channel. This is episode 22 of season 3 of the Great American Stampin' Show. It is hard to believe that for 22 consecutive weeks, the four of us have been here on YouTube every Thursday night sharing creative inspiration with you. So let's do a quick little bit of math. So we've had 22 weeks and there are four of us for participating. So that's 88 different card ideas. Plus we did the 12 weeks of Christmas tutorials. So that's 100 different card ideas that we've shared with you guys for season 3. So we had a great time doing it. If you haven't seen all of our episodes, definitely go to the playlist here on my Stamp with Jodi YouTube channel and check out all of the Great American Stampin' Show episodes. You'll get tons and tons of great ideas. So stay tuned for season 4. We're taking a little bit of a break, but we will be back with a brand new season 4. Stay tuned for details on that. And what I want to encourage you to do, you know, a lot of you are watching these videos, the statistics and analytics that we can see show how many people are watching this, but are you subscribing? Make sure you click to subscribe to my YouTube channel here so that you don't miss anything. We are taking a little break, like I said, from the Great American Stampin' Show before we start season 4, but I'll be posting other videos in the meantime. So I don't want you to miss out on anything. So be sure that you go ahead and click subscribe here to my YouTube channel. So as usual, as you've been doing, watch this video featuring card layout number 22, and then go ahead and watch Julie and Brandy and Shannon's videos, and then just give that thumbs up vote to the one that you like the most. Okay, so episode 22 means card template 22. So let's take a look at this one. We've got a piece that takes up most of the card front, but you see a little tiny bit on the top and bottom, and then a couple of squares, and then a little banner in the center. So that's what we're working with for today. So let me tell you a little bit about the products that I chose to use for this card. I've got the Bird's Eye View stamp set. This one's been around in our annual catalog, but I thought it worked great for my idea for this card. So we'll be using birds and little owl from this set. And then my greeting is going to come from the stamp set Simply Said, another solid stamp set that you can use just for a variety of greetings. Now, I'm giving you a little bit of a sneak peek. This is 6x6 designer paper that is called Timeless Plaid, and this is available. Let me see how I can spread this out so you can see all of the amazing patterns. I'll just grab a few and show you a little bit at a time. These are in the new upcoming mini catalog that you will be able to order from starting in January. So there's these plaids. They're all double-sided, so I just kind of turned them so we could see both sides at once. But just a great variety, and I love the colors. I think these lend themselves really well to some masculine cards. So these are the different plaids that are in that brand new package. Again, it's called Timeless Plaid, and you can look for that in the upcoming mini catalog. So let me pull some pieces in. Our card base is going to be Boho Blue. And so I'll take that. It's 8.5 by 5.5, and we just fold it down the center to get our card front. And then I've got this piece from that Timeless Plaid package and just a little strip of Petal Pink. So what I'm going to do is take some seal adhesive and just go along one edge here. And then I'm going to set this right over it. So I just want a little bit of that to show through. And then I'll go ahead and apply more over it, put a little bit in the middle, and then attach this to the card front. So if you recall, there was a piece that took up most of the front, but then it had a larger margin on the sides, and then just a little bit peeking through on the top and bottom. So this is what we've got so far. Then it had a couple of squares and a banner piece. So got to figure out how to make this a little bit interesting, right? So I am going to start with, I'll kind of set this aside and pull this in, and I'm going to use this image and some Memento black ink. and we'll just go ahead and ink this up, stamp it right in the center of this little 2-inch square of thick white cardstock. The reason I'm using thick white is because I'm going to color with our Stampin' Blends alcohol markers, and they tend to do a better job on the thicker cardstock. So, like I said, I'm going to just take this, color them in, and we'll do some creative things with those squares. So I'm going to pull in the light shade of Petal Pink and then both the light and dark Crumb Cake. So I'm going to start, if you haven't used Stampin' Blends, there's a brush end as well as a fine tip end. And so I'm just using the brush end right now with Petal Pink. And then I'm going to start with the darker end and go over just some of these little designs in the stamped image. I'll just put some darker color on that. It's pretty random. And then I'll go over it with the lighter shade of Crumb Cake. And you can just kind of pull and blend that together. So I'll just finish up coloring him. I'm going to leave that little beak area for a moment. And then there's a couple of different things you could do with the beak, and I went back and forth. You could just take your Petal Pink and go over it and just make that, you know, the real light color. I decided to pull in the Calypso Coral marker just to give it a little bit of a darker look there. Either way is fine. If you don't have the marker, the Petal Pink would work just fine. But I felt like that pulled in that darker color there from the designer paper. So I went ahead and I stamped another bird. And so if I laid it on there like that, you recall, and then it just had the banner piece across the center. So I did feel like for the banner we needed a little more color. So I pulled in just this tiny little strip of Petal Pink, and it'll tie in together the strip that I have there. And I'll grab the black ink again, and this is the happy birthday greeting from the Simply Said stamp set. And I will attempt to stamp it straight on this tiny little piece. It does help that I can see right through it thanks to the photopolymer image. Ooh, I do not like how that looked. I think I got a little heavy-handed there. So what I'm going to do is just flip it over. Worst case, we always have 2 shots, and we can use the better of the 2. All right, much better. We'll use this one for sure. Okay, so what I want to do, you may or may not have noticed that on that little banner, the ends were actually cut at a little bit of an angle. So I'm just gonna take my snips and just cut a little bit of an angle on each end. Excuse me. So now I can set that across there, and there's a little bit more contrast. So I could just attach these pieces and be done and have a pretty quick and creative card. But I wanted to add something else that I think makes a big difference. So I'm going to go ahead and stick this happy birthday banner on a larger piece that is just some basic white. And I just really like the contrast that that brings when I set it on here. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to take this little piece and I'm going to pull in my Boho Blue light Stampin' Blend. We're going to do a little bit of a background. So I'm just taking the brush end and kind of going right up to that line and just kind of outlining it a little bit. And then I can do some broader strokes like this to add color. So I'm just coloring in that background, and what it's going to do is just make the square pop right off of the card. Now, if I just took a piece of Boho Blue cardstock, we would never be able to stamp the image and then color it in, right? Because if you stamped the image with black ink on Boho Blue cardstock, like the inside would all be Boho Blue and there would be like nothing to color on, right? So we can kind of give the illusion that it's Boho Blue simply by coloring around the image with this Stampin' Blend. And the more you go over it, the darker it would get. But I absolutely love the look of this piece. So let's compare. You've got that one there and this one here. Look at that difference and how they just pop right off of the card. So I went ahead, so you didn't have to watch me do that again, and colored around the edge of this guy here. So what I'll do is go ahead and put some adhesive on the back. I'll actually do both of them at the same time so I can kind of space them out together as I add them to the card. So I'll put this one like maybe about there. And then this one down here. I've just kind of angled them a little bit like it shows on the template. And then this piece here, now when I add it, it just really stands out. So again, if you can just, go back and think about what it looked like with that white background, it's just so different and fun when you use that Boho Blue background. So that's just a really quick tip to think about when you need to add a little bit of interest to your card. You can use a Stampin' Blend and just color that background and it'll pop right off the page. So this is going to be staggered a little bit, so it's going to go off the edge over here just a touch. We'll add it there. And then the very last thing I want to do, this is some of the in color jute twine, and I'm going to pull it apart. There's like 3 strands, and I just want a thin piece, so I'm just pulling it apart like that. And then I will attempt, I don't ever like doing this on my videos, but it'll be okay. So attempt to tie a bow that looks reasonable. It's not too bad. And I'll just trim the ends a little bit here and then grab a glue dot. I like to just leave them right on the roll here and just roll it up like this. And then I can set it down and set the little bow right into it. So that is what I have for you for my quick and creative card for episode 22. I hope you like the creativity behind it and some of the tips using the Stampin' Blends. Be sure to watch the other 3 videos and then come back and give that thumbs up vote to the one that you enjoyed the most. Thanks so much for watching, and remember to stay tuned. We will see you for season 4 of the Great American Stampin' Show.